up, buddies? It's the Bennington Show, the only father-daughter radio show in the history of radio. I'm Gail Bennington.
I'm Ron Bennington, and as the show started, Chris just handed me an emergency.
I know, he did it so gently, too.
Well, the thing is, I just had an Uber driver looking like they were going to dive out of the car because I coughed. And now Chris does that, and I'm just feeling dirty and diseased.
I'm so not a person who is a hypochondriac, but I always find it humorous when somebody coughs in front of me and then they're like, I don't have a cold. I mean, I'm getting over a cold, or I kind of have allergies, so don't even worry. I'm like, I never would think that. I don't care.
The germ freaks are everywhere these days. Everyone's Howie Mandel at this point. They're going to shave their whole body because germs can stick to hair. I think that's why he's bald. I don't know. You know what? This is a bittersweet Friday because we're giving a fond farewell to the intern of the year, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Andy!
Of the year.
Andy. Yeah.
I did it.
Well, at least
Were there others?
the last part of the year, anyway.
Yeah.
Good.
This semester, for sure, our best intern.
That's awesome.
And I know you're busy with the UCB Christmas show that you guys are doing this year, you know?
It's a big one, yeah.
Yeah. It's beginning to look a lot like fill in the blank, everybody. You know what I mean? Zip zap or whatever the fuck they're doing over
Zop.
there. Zop, is that it?
Yeah, you don't forget the Zop.
Just give us 2 occupations and a reason why we're sitting in this chair. everybody.
Gynecologist.
Proctologist. Well, I missed by this much. You know how close the asshole is to the genitals. What's lined up this year? Going to take a good look at the Charlie Brown Christmas and you guys do it?
Yeah, I think so. We're just going to watch it and then we're going to recreate it on stage and pretend like that's
You're
comedy.
clearly Schroeder, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope so.
Love it. I love this.
He gives Schroeder vibes, I feel.
Thank you.
What do you got planned over your Christmas break, Andy?
I'm going home to the desert, going to see the folks, and then we're going to Florida to Miami for New Year's.
Wow.
Those are the big plans.
That is a warm way.
Very
I'm
hot.
really jealous of
I know.
the heat factor of your holiday season.
Yeah, I'm ready to get out of the cold. It very much confuses my body. It doesn't understand.
You know what helps? This will help you. Opium. Any kind of opiates at all will warm you up from the inside. You know what I mean?
That's popular.
You know
too.
how you want to sweat on the inside.
I always say it's chicken soup for the soul.
You do?
Yeah, I think that's what that book's about. It's just about a young junkie living in Upper Manhattan.
God, those were huge. Those books were incredible.
Why wouldn't they be? You know, I need a little pick-me-up every once in a while.
Are you going to be traveling with your brother as well? Like you guys both going home?
Yes, he'll also be in Arizona. I don't think he's following us for New Year's, though.
Oh,
so I'll
boy.
be alone in Miami with my Cuban relatives. It'll be great.
Sexy.
Yeah, maybe planning on Bay of Pigs, too. You going to get a Cuban sandwich while you're down there?
Always, yeah.
Get a picture for your Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Please
just
do.
eat like, yummies. Put something like that on
Yummers.
And
Yeah.
tag us so we can
Yeah.
repost it.
And then
Chris, have we heard back from Hoagie Dom right now yet? Because, man, I'm on it with him. You know, he was all excited that we brought up his site, and then he wants to get a thing for his mom so she could hear that, you know,
right,
that
yeah.
the site was being talked about, or his, what would you call it, Instagram page?
Account, yeah.
And then I'm like, well, just come in. You know?
Yeah,
Let's
why
give
not?
that to your mom for Christmas.
Of course.
And if you want, Andy can do all the Cuban sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he can be Ruizing
Yeah.
as a way of catching up over that Jersey,
Gotta do it.
Miami thing over the Cuban sandwich when Carl Ruiz upset the Cuban community
Yeah.
by saying Miami did not have the best Cuban sandwiches New Jersey did.
I have heard, though, that any Cuban sandwich in Miami is better than any Cuban sandwich in Cuba. I've heard that many
Wow,
times.
really?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Because of the lack of quality ingredients.
That makes a lot of sense, doesn't
So
it?
actually, a Cuban sandwich is better in Miami.
Just like Brooklyn Italian food is better than Italy Italian
Right,
food
exactly.
because the lack
we
of
get the good stuff.
giant meatballs over
They
there.
don't have the size factor that
No.
we enjoy so much.
Not even in their waiters.
They don't have the quantity of cheese that we need. Nothing.
If I'm in an Italian restaurant and I see a thin waiter, I'll just go like this. Oh, excuse me. I guess I'm in the wrong place. Take this menu back.
I don't like vegan food, so I'm going
Right.
to leave.
Those vegans, huh?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I was in a line for soup the other day, and a woman was holding up the line. She's like, "Is there any meat in the vegetarian chili?" I'm gonna answer that question for you. No. And then the guy was like, "No." And she's like, "Can you be sure?" And he's like all nervous now. So now he's going back and talking like, "Is there any way?" And we're all like, "There's no meat in it. There's no meat in it."
How is it chili without meat though? You know what I mean? Isn't
It's
it
just
something
bean based.
Then just say, "Hey, would you like a fucking bowl of beans?"
Yeah, but
You can't call it chili. The fucking meat is what gives the fucking
chill.
yeah, this place,
Thank you.
This place has both meat and vegetarian option for chili, and she was really adamant. Why would there be two options then? You know what I mean? Like if there was meat in the vegetarian
Just
chili,
fucking eat whatever you got, lady. You're lucky enough. You know
Why
what?
would there be a
You
meat
can't eat a
option?
little meat. You can have just a little bit of meat in there. I'm just gonna add to the taste.
my
bowl of
cousin
meat.
is a vegetarian, and one time she's like, "Yeah, I eat no meat. Oh, except for pork fried rice." And I was like, "That's weird. Why?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "It's so tiny."
Yeah, she's right.
Yeah.
And she's like, "And the vegetarian fried rice sucks. It just doesn't taste good."
What cousin is this?
Irene.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like, she wasn't even like a vegetarian for health reasons. She was like a little girl. It
Yeah.
was like, I can't eat an animal. Like
That's
she
not
just
right.
freaked out. It wasn't even like, oh, I'm a good person. So it was like the thought of chewing up an animal and swallowing it as a little like 5-year-old girl.
I had a friend who did the same thing. That like at 4 years old, she was like, "Why are we calling this chicken?" And then also the animal is chicken. And then
Right.
her parents were like, "Well, that's the animal." And then we cook that animal. And she's like, "Well, I'm done." So because she was like 4 years old, she hasn't had most meats.
Right.
So she's like, "I know for a fact I've never had a steak before." Like she's never even tried these things. And I'm like, I feel like you should have to try
But-
and then recommit yourself. To
But
no
see,
meat
here's the
later
thing.
on.
The idea of eating flesh is gross to her. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, that's the non-crazy way to look at it. What I do, gnawing on a bone,
Yeah.
is fucking insane.
And even more insane than that is like this weird in-between zone that we have where we don't have a relationship with our meat anymore. And so we're like, yeah, I'll eat steak. Yeah, I'll eat a burger. But then if you see, a carcass or someone, a butcher, and you're just like, oh, that's too intense. Or I don't like to handle too much raw
Well, they don't
food.
want
They're
to
like,
kill it.
Right.
They honestly feel like, how could someone kill an animal? You're eating a murdered animal.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up and just fucking enjoy all of it.
It tastes
or
good.
none of it. Join that little girl who is disgusted by it. But, the whole thing of, hey, why don't you try it before you... That's like saying to somebody, for all I know, a fucking toddler might taste delicious.
Right.
I mean, I've seen some fat little babies that I'm like, I would not mind roasting that in a pan.
That's like human veal.
Yeah.
I'm
sure it's delicious. But that's not the point. That's
Yeah.
not the reason why I don't eat people. So it's going to be tough. Particularly, I think, for Vito. Who did you have a closer relationship? Vito? Earl? Or, I know this doesn't even make sense, but Chris Stanley.
I think me and Vito became best
They
friends.
were very close.
There's no one that you've ever been close to, Chris.
Yeah. Has an
that's
intern
tough.
ever been close
Well,
to...
Draft House Kid, he would just always complain to about his girlfriend.
Right, you're right. I forgot about that. You could use him, you know what I mean, as that fucking mentor, I guess.
fucking never complained to him about
Dude.
my personal life.
You
My
had
life's
one
in
friend.
hell, you used to say to him.
I never said that.
You had one friend, but really he was just your therapist.
Did that, and then he turned on you, and you know what I mean, like gave away your secrets. It's like if you heard your therapist going, "Hey, I got a really funny story. This dumb person comes in." Now, we thought, Andy, since this is your last day, but you are coming back next semester.
I am. I'll be back in the spring.
Wow, and that's after the operation.
That's after, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it'll be a rough transition, but we'll be okay.
Every transition is rough, but we get there.
Yeah,
you know?
it's true.
And-
It'll be weird to see him in spring clothes. I've only known winter
That's
Andy.
true.
It's
Now,
very-
Andy, before you leave, make sure that, the rest of us aren't really like touching type people, but I want you to get a big hug from Vito in his Christmas sweater.
Aw. Would you allow that?
100%.
His rugged, the sweater is made out of Bounty towels. If you notice.
He really looks
so
like
comforting.
a guy on a romance novel,
I
like
know.
a winter-themed romance
Remember
novel.
the guy who came in, the male model that you liked, Gail, the big guy?
Yeah, Brock O'Hearn.
He's turning into Bronco.
Every
Look at
minute
him.
of the day, he gets closer
I
to
just
my
need
love.
some highlights. I just
I
need an
know.
ombre.
I know.
Dude, I don't mind. We'll fucking pay for highlights if you want to get
I
them
would
done. I
love
would love
to see,
that.
Because
yeah.
don't you think Vito's hair color
Look
could
at that.
really be...
You're Brock O'Hearn.
Yeah. That's you, dude. You're like an Italian Brock O'Hearn.
Wait a minute. Why does Bronco look so fat in that picture?
I
Is
don't
that
know, I'm
supposed to be a
worried.
joke picture?
Yeah,
That's Fat Thor. That was a hot costume this year.
I didn't know that.
Here he is with a puppy, looking thin.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
he's good with dogs.
He's so... Like, I need a man like that.
You know what's weird, though? He's a bottom. Never expected it. Never expected it.
Look at... He's so sensitive, too. You know,
Yeah.
you can see
Yeah.
that he's, like, thoughtful.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he lives alone in the mountains, and then
Yeah.
he comes down every once in a while and makes gentle sex to nicely.
Looks like there he's dressed for some sort of a period piece.
Yeah, well, that's just, he got paid to do that.
Sure. Oh, I like cowboy version. That's a good look.
That's
And
really good.
he's in much better shape than when he did our show.
Yeah, I mean, he's...
I mean, look at his stomach there.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's a 40-pack.
I mean, that's pretty much Vito. Like, he's no different.
Well, the difference is Vito took himself off the market. You know?
Yeah.
I think probably a diamond ring this Christmas.
Ah!
Not yet.
Get it.
Not
They
yet.
always say it just takes a couple months. You don't want to
the
wait
thing-
longer than that.
What's the commercial he went to?
Jared?
He went to Jared.
Yeah. Or you could go to K Jewelers with my Santa Daddy.
I noticed that the young girls didn't get the Santa Daddy bit at all.
They did.
I
Yeah.
thought they were like Santa Daddy was like even too old for them.
Maybe,
To them,
yeah.
a daddy is like 27, 28. But they were just looking and like, who's that?
To me, a daddy is a literal daddy.
All right, so it's Andy's last day, and we thought we let him run with his brother's
Yeah.
premise. What's the name of your brother's podcast?
It's Am I the Asshole podcast.
Yeah.
It's based on the very popular Reddit Am I the Asshole, so I'm taking the idea that he stole from Reddit.
So you're stealing
love
from
it.
him.
I'm
stealing
Great.
from him
I
what he
love
already
it.
stole.
Great.
You know what this is? This is hip hop.
But yeah, I wanted to just give some scenarios, and we can decide whether or not we're assholes in them.
Okay.
The one I thought of for myself was when I first moved to New York, when I learned the rule that when you're in the subway and you see someone with a child and a stroller, you're supposed to ask and help if they need help to carry it up the stairs.
Right.
When I first learned that, I would walk to other staircases to avoid doing that like a coward.
Jesus, Andy.
What am I the asshole, Chris?
Yes, you're the asshole. of
I'm going to
course.
go with 100%.
For
You're
sure.
the asshole.
I don't see another option.
Surely there's some wiggle room somewhere, right?
I would say this: not everybody. You know what I mean? I mean, not everybody does it.
Yeah.
You know, you're saying that the majority of the world is an asshole. Some people just don't want to help. And in Andy's case, you really think he could take half a stroller?
Yeah. I mean, if
think
you have a
it's-
physical reason that you can.
I genuinely was afraid that I would drop it.
Okay.
And I think I am weak enough to do that consistently.
And let me just say this, and we've all made errors in sports, but dropping a baby is the worst error
Yeah.
known to man.
It's not good.
Yeah. I just don't think 100% of the people are going to do everything. It doesn't necessarily make them an asshole. And
Yeah.
I certainly don't expect the feeble to get involved in these things.
No, one time I thought this was great. One time I was helping a woman who was trying to go down the stairs with hers. And she's like, I'm going to take him out because it'll just be safer that way. And I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And so she takes the baby out, and then she hands me her baby, and then she takes down the stroller. I thought that was really funny
That's
and very
really sweet.
trusting.
That's really
like, I thought
sweet.
she was going to make me carry the heavy stroller down.
No.
But I got the baby, which
You
was pretty
should-
cool.
You should have turned and ran with it. Screaming, I got a baby. I finally got a baby.
Just kidding, man. Sorry. Good prank, though, right?
I would love to keep a Subway baby.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Oh, look who wants a baby now. Yeah.
Santa
there's a
Daddy.
crack. I bet he has a baby this Christmas.
There's no babies
Is
in my
she
future.
already pregnant? Just
No.
tell
Dude,
us.
No
if
one
she
fucking
Wink if
is-
she is.
No.
If she is, can we all go in? When she's having the baby.
There's no baby coming.
Just I'm not the whole time. Just when
Yeah.
she starts crowning, I want to
What?
go in.
Yeah.
No. There's no baby. There's no baby in my future.
I could help her. I've been through it. You know?
Thank you for the offer. I appreciate that.
I'll be there.
But there is no baby coming. There's no
Are you
baby.
saying you guys decided to go in the other direction, abortion clinic?
There's no
I
pregnancies.
guess we found out who the asshole of this
Yeah.
is. Chris. Andy, you got another one for us? Because that one seemed to be an easy one for
Yeah.
the kids. And quite frankly, I lied just to try to keep it going a little
sure.
bit. But
That was a pretty clear-cut case.
yeah.
Yeah. Another scenario from my personal experience with I have rats in my apartment. It's been really
Not
bad.
mice, rats.
I know they are Harlem Street rats. We live on 143rd, and our building is full of large rats. Vito is looking at me weird.
It's an Upper West Side thing. Vito knows this, that the one part of the city, and this happens like every 7-8 years, that gets an infusion is the Upper West Side with rats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no other part of the city.
It's they do a takeover.
Because a lot of restaurants, a lot of just bars and stuff. So
By the way, did you see you had a murder up that way? The young girl got
Oh, yeah, I
murdered?
saw that.
Oh my
Yeah.
god,
That's
that
scary.
was so upsetting.
Well,
Like
what's
Columbia.
scary is as soon as this murder happens, you're getting out of town. And I don't want to say there's a connection,
oh my god.
but you may be the Morningside Strangler.
Look, the things I do when I'm out of the studio is no one's business.
No.
Oh, God.
So I have rats in my apartment.
Yeah.
They're very large. There was one in the living room the other day, and my apartment's very small. The living room is 8 feet from my bedroom. So I asked my brother if I could spend the night, and he said no because he has an hour commute, and he is a light sleeper. And I scolded him. Am I the asshole for being mad that my brother wouldn't let me sleep over for one night?
No, you guys are close, though, you said, right?
We are pretty close.
And he's what kind of man is a light sleeper?
Exactly.
I never even heard of that before.
That's a woman's position.
I agree. A man who's like, please, I need total silence is, quite frankly, not
A
a,
woman's
man.
sleeping pattern should be like that of like a little dog at the foot of the bed.
Right.
It's just like,
I
did you
love
hear that? What was that? I thought I heard a sound.
And I think a man should be able to sleep in the middle of a highway. You know,
Yeah.
what's that little strip called?
Yeah.
It's the
The median?
Thank you. He should be able to sleep in the median. I mean, that's why, like, if you're in lockup, you can lay down on the floor and sleep, and you know what I mean. People are like, how was last night? You're like, oh no, I slept through it all. Got a good 11 hours in
Yeah.
while I was drunk.
It was nice.
No, I think you're. I think maybe you should stab your brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then you're justified. No, I would be annoyed for sure if somebody said, if your own brother was just like, nah, I can't do that solid.
Why didn't you kill the rat, like with a bat or?
It got away. We lost it, and then we called the super, and he came over and he patched the hole, but it took a whole day for that to
Right.
happen.
Right.
What do you put in there? Like fucking steel wool?
Yeah, steel wool and a large wooden board.
They all think steel wool
Yeah.
is the fucking
They're scared
end
of
to
it.
everybody's problems.
I had a friend who had a mouse infestation, and then like they came in, the super put the steel wool, and then she came home from work, and she said they chewed through the steel wool, and there was little bloody footprints all over.
Yeah,
Oh God.
because I guess they're starving or
Yeah.
whatever.
They're just like
Fucking
they're obsessive. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, what else they got to do? You know what I mean? I mean, one thing that fucking mice. The cartoons have been just throwing bullshit at us all these years. They're much more aggressive than those. Avita, who's the asshole?
Well, I think you might be the asshole, and I'm so as your best friend, dude.
Okay.
As your best friend, I feel like you're putting your comfort ahead of your brother's comfort.
It's a different type of thing of comfort, though. Let's say that his brother wasn't comfortable sharing food and Andy was starving. You know what I mean? Like, he's freaked out. There's a fucking big toothed rat ready
have
to
the
bite
plague.
into him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We live in New York, man. You gotta get used to rats.
No,
Nobody-
Come on,
nobody
nobody
wants
wants
a
a
rat.
rat
in
in
your
their
home.
home. Yeah,
Yeah.
a rat is first of all, a mouse is disturbing enough. A mouse
Right.
in your house can ruin your life.
A rat in my house, I'm moving.
Yeah,
I'm
a rat
I'm leaving.
is too far.
I'm done with this fucking place.
That's horrifying.
I don't want to see a rat outside.
That's just like a step below. Just like, okay, so we have a possum in our house.
No,
Who
no,
cares?
no, no. It's worse than a possum. It's worse than a possum. Chris, who's the asshole?
Andy's brother's the asshole.
Yeah.
There's a fucking rat in your house. He should be able
I don't
to
even know how you can be friends with him now.
Yeah, I'm rethinking the whole
Dude,
thing.
come on, man. I'm telling you how it is.
You're being too real with me, man.
Sorry.
We've also, there's like a history. We've had many rats, and there was at one point, it was deeply horrifying. A rat got into my roommate's bedroom, and he may have woken up and it touched him.
Yeah, I'm
And
sure.
That's not a life I want to be living.
Earl grew up in the hood where it was. I read some of his poems in terms of rats popped up quite a few times. Earl, what do you think?
Your brother's an asshole because you were in distress. Like this, take the rat out of it. He's like, hey, I need someplace to crash.
No matter what he needed,
Yes.
your brother, you got to be there for your
You
brother.
got to be there for your brother.
That's actually a good call. Even if it's like, to your brother, I'm having nightmares.
Yeah, I think there's a ghost in my house. That's unreasonable, but come on over.
Come on over.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Who the fuck? And by the way, what's the matter whether you got a fucking hour commute or not?
Also, like, light sleeper. You see how quiet this kid
I
is?
know.
I don't make a
Like a
sound.
ninja.
Yeah.
I know.
Every time he's in the studio, I'm like, huh,
Yeah, I know.
Andy.
Fucking
No, you're
moves
there.
around like tissue paper. Vito, I think that you made up your thing just to try to be different. And
No,
you know what? We all see through it. It's
Yeah,
fucking
look,
disgusting.
I get it. You're like a cool guy in your sexy man Christmas sweater.
So hot.
What?
Sarcasm.
Do we have like some sort of a bearskin rug he can pose on with that? Like a fireside
So we go to
moment?
Amazon.
That's what he needs.
I'm transparent, guys. You can see right through me, but I'm not lying to you.
All right. Do you have any more of these?
I pulled one from Reddit that I thought was pretty
Finally, a
good.
good
just
one
with the
then.
title. Yeah, we're just going to the good stuff. Am I the asshole for peeing in my boyfriend's trash can?
Nope.
And
Oh wait, go on.
basically what happened was a couple were fighting, and the boyfriend locked himself in the bathroom out of anger and wouldn't open the door, and she was knocking really loud saying she had to pee. He wouldn't open, so she
First of
peed
all,
in the
who
trash can.
fucking what man locks himself in the
That's a
bathroom?
teen girl move.
Yeah.
Like that's not even like an adult woman move. That's
No.
a teen girl would be like, I'm in here, leave me alone.
This is fucking horrifying.
Yeah,
this
it's
whole
really
story.
weird.
Terrible
And no, this woman had to pee.
Yeah.
She had to pee.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've peed in a trash can before in my own apartment
Why didn't
when
you
I had
just-
roommates, and it was horrifying because my new roommate's girlfriend, like he moved in that day, and I was like running back to the house, like I really, really had to pee, and I come in, and he's like, "Hey, I'm the new roommate. Oh, also my girlfriend's in the shower." And I had to run into my bedroom and pee into my own trash can.
You're lucky. It wasn't like worse.
I got blackout drunk once, and
All right, here we go. Here's confession time is starting.
And,
oh, wow, by the way, look at fucking. He's grossed
You're grossed out that I
out.
had to pee
Jesus.
into my own trash can.
all bodily fluids. What's wrong with
There
them
was
all?
I would have peed on the floor. What's more gross? To pee in front of my roommate, my brand new roommate. First impression is me urinating on the floor, or go into the privacy of my own bedroom and pee into my trash can.
Trash can is way more polite.
First of all, we're talking to Earl. It's fucking Earl's bit. He was the one that was freaked out.
Yeah, I was a little freaked out of it. Like you're sitting in your room and all of a sudden you just going into the toilet. Going
You're
into
not
a
making
bucket.
sense. It's Gail
Yeah,
No, I understand that, but
peeing into her own fucking trash can.
yeah, I mean, it's
had
just,
no choice.
I mean, yeah, I understand that there's no choice and you really have to go. It's just the visual of it just is freaking me out. And I don't know,
Why? You've never peed outside?
more times than I can count,
Well,
but
Yeah.
does the visual of that freak you out?
it was always uncomfortable. But
It's the no, it's not uncomfortable to fall for a man to piss outside. It's the first time in your life you feel
natural.
free.
It's natural.
You are freaked out by women. That's
Yeah.
the fucking
Yeah.
point I'm trying to make to you.
And it's probably not even pee related. It's probably vagina
It
related.
is vagina
He
related.
hates genitals.
All right, Chris, you were gonna.
So,
try to
all right,
tell-
am I the
Chris
asshole?
the topper is here.
Go
No,
ahead.
am I the asshole? I blacked out once, and then apparently my girlfriend at the time told me I had gotten up in the middle of the night, pissed in a bag of tchotchkes that she had from a trip, and then went back to sleep.
There's a long tradition of blackout drunks peeing in something that is not a bathroom, You know, they don't just get up and pee on the floor. But there was a thing with Kiddison used to do this all the time. He'd get up and piss in a suitcase. Like he would just get up and piss in his suitcase, and the other guys would be laughing and shit.
I have had multiple friends in multiple different circumstances drunk piss in weird places. Piss in a hallway, piss in a sock drawer. These are different guys. One of them pissed on my friend's feet while he was sleeping. On his bare feet. Just started urinating on his bare feet that were hanging off the couch. And then, worst of all, I set my friend up with my roommate, and then he drunkenly peed in our other roommate's makeup bag. Just a bag full of makeup. And, like, literally, her makeup was floating in the bag. That was how much urine was in there.
Now, what happened on their next date?
That was the end.
That's surprising.
And to be honest with you, my girlfriends were all like, why did you set her up with him? And I was like, I didn't think he would pee in your makeup bag. That definitely wasn't my intention.
By the way, I know I've been
fun.
watching Earl. Nothing grossed him out except for you peeing in the trash can. All the other
Why?
stuff, because it was men. And it was
look,
piss from a dick. That's what he likes. That's his fucking favorite thing. How about how Earl brags about, I've peed outside more times than I can remember.
So proud.
I first peed outside during the Kennedy administration. The day we heard of Sputnik, I was taking a long piss out next to an oak tree.
do you think it's like just the fact that I'm a woman grosses you
Yes.
out, or is it the position in which women have to pee?
Neither.
They're
Just-
forced to pee.
Just bodily fluids freak me out. Just the idea of just walking into something and seeing it swim in bodily fluids is disgusting to me. Gagging just thinking about it.
I didn't say that anything in my trash can was swimming in bodily fluids. I just said I peed in my trash can.
No, when
He's
you,
taking
no,
the
no, when you
other
said
thing.
the thing with the makeup, I was
But that wasn't Gail.
I
Gail
understand
didn't
that,
pee.
but
No,
just-
you don't understand it. That was a man's piss, and I was watching you, and I saw Earl like this. Perfectly fine. No problem there.
So weird that he would even mouth that. Perfectly fine. He gave a little thumbs up, shook his head like, yeah, it's okay.
Boy power.
But for some reason, a big deal if I'm crouching over my trash can
That makes him
taking a hot
disgusted.
piss.
That makes him disgusted because he always thinks that's where babies come from. He's like Elvis that way.
Yeah, that's true. He believed in the sanctity of a wife's vagina.
Well, what Elvis said was he was never going to put his cock where his baby's head was. So once Lisa, no, it wasn't Lisa Marie, it was the baby. What's his wife?
Priscilla.
Yeah, once Scylla had that baby, he was done thinking of her as a sexual person.
It's strange because, like, someone should have explained, the baby's head is never going to go back in there. You know what I mean? Like, that moment's done.
Well,
So now it's free for dick.
I mean, the truth was Elvis was a hillbilly, so that kind of stuff. But here's the interesting about Elvis. So he couldn't do it. He was grossed out. Then he found out that Scylla had an affair with the karate teacher, so he raped her and then left. That was in all the books. He was so turned on by the cuck thing. People do not, they can't get it through their heads that if you find out you've been cheated on, you definitely want to bang her thinking about it, and then you're done with her.
And now it's ruined.
Yeah, and that's
But it
the
was
way.
good for 1 minute.
That's the way I believe Earl is. I think that's the way that he sees women. It's the Madonna. It's the whore.
There's no in between.
There's no in between for Earl. That's why he's never taken a bride himself.
Earl, why
because
are
he'd kill
you
her.
such a slut shamer?
slut shamer at all. I just hate bodily fluids. But I love women. I
Why
adore-
you're a fucking human on this planet, right?
Yes.
Why would the fucking body gross you out? Everybody fucking pees. Everybody poops. I'm gonna get you the book.
I understand that, but there's a built-in thing in my head. You pee in a toilet. You pee. But the idea of
First of all, that's not natural, right? To pee in a toilet. This is the newest thing in the history of humans that we have. A toilet. He sees everything as dirty.
Yeah. I think that the best thing we could do is, what is that? Like kind of like immersion therapy?
Yeah.
Where it's like we put cups of different bodily fluids.
Nice.
And then like you first you get near it, then you touch it, then you smell, then taste, and we'll just go through. Pee, poo.
I volunteer as tribute.
A lot comes.
I think that's the only way to get Earl to really get comfortable with it. He does have strong reactions to bodily fluids. Was that something related to your fainting too?
Yes.
Like the thought of it, like
Every
back when you were
time-
fainting?
He farted and then fainted.
His own farts.
Yeah. His own farts caused him to faint. Who knows what goes on in that fucking lunatic's head? We can't tell.
It's impossible to tell what goes on.
You're definitely one of the more unique people I've ever met, though, at least that.
Are you so grossed out by semen that's why you won't jerk off?
Oh, that could be interesting.
It has to be it.
Can I ask you a only slightly personal question? When you did jerk off, where would semen go? Like, were you the kind of, like, you couldn't look at it or touch it? You had to, like, clean up right away?
Immediate cleanup, and then like generally is always in the bathroom, so I was very close
Into
to
the
water.
bathroom.
Always
Ew.
disgusting.
That's gross. You're judging me for peeing.
That's where your
Yeah.
family goes.
You're 50.
Also, that's where pee and poo go.
Yeah.
Like, who
I'm not
wants
saying
to...
when I did it when I was 50. I'm
He
talking about
goes
when I
in
was.
when somebody forgot to flush. He just jerks off. Dude, this girl that I was dating, she used to fucking, this is when we were in high school, and she used to date this other buddy of mine, right? Mm-hmm. And that I knew very well, and then she told me, like, the first time I fucking pulled out, she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, fucking, and then she said that he would jump up, run into the bathroom, and jizz into the toilet. And I fucking rolled off the bed laughing.
God.
And she's like, "What? What?" So that was like
so
her
weird.
first. So she was just like,
that's what men
this would
do.
Yeah. And as soon as I splashed her titties with it, she's like, "What the fuck? That's for the toilet, dude." And I'm like, "What are you fucking talking about?" I can say the fucking cat's name right now, and then we all have a good laugh at his expense and to tell his kids about it. But isn't that hilarious? I just was like, and I made her pantomime like,
Some,
"This is for the toilet."
I think some men do have phobias, though, of their own semen. That's like a
Of
thing.
course, you know
Yeah.
why? They're so afraid they're gonna eat it.
Because
Earl's afraid he's gonna eat it.
I knew
like
a
it.
girl who was dating a guy who had like a real phobia of his own semen, and like later he kind of went nuts, and we're like, well, we kind of knew that from the first moment.
Come crazy.
But like he would even like after he would come, if he saw it or like during a cleanup situation, he would like start to gag as he was if he looked at
fucking
his
bizarre.
own semen.
Right.
It's just jizz.
That's your babies.
Not your babies. That's the stupidest thing people say. It's not a fucking baby, you conservative fucking cock. Well, Earl, somehow you became the asshole of the show today.
I didn't mean to, but sorry.
I didn't mean to do that. I didn't know.
Did I do that?
Okay, Chris, you just won the fucking morning with one thing. Never before have we connected. This fucking guy's an Urkel. Chris, do your impression of Earl again.
Did I do that?
Spot on.
Dude, you gotta fucking do that for Instagram, Earl. That's gotta become your thing. We'll just call you Grown Up Urkel from this point on. All right, we gotta take a break here, but Andy, God bless you and Godspeed.
We love
with your weird desert Christmas, and then your South Beach New
No, that
Year's, which
part
makes
sounds
a lot
pretty
more
cool.
sense to everybody. Coming up, it's the Dan Soder
It's
Unmasked,
at 4 p.m.
and then this goes on demand too.
On demand, yes. Available on demand.
I gotta fucking tell you the truth. I found that this thing annoys me a little bit. Like, people will follow us on Instagram and like with the Tarantino thing,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Holy shit, is there anywhere that I could hear this?" Like, how many fucking years do we have to say on demand?
On demand.
On demand is where you hear it.
You go on, like if you're on the app, search Bennington,
And it comes up.
It just comes up. You can listen to
Doesn't
it.
matter. They're still gonna ask.
Demand it yourself. You got to take it into your own hands.
We put it on the on demand every day.
Did I do that? So fucking class. Okay. Hoagie Dom is ready to do the show.
Awesome.
We're going to be discussing
Sandwiches.
the great hoagies. All right. That's Bennington.